I don't know what the answer is. Is the answer, now that we know that the FBI put their cinder blocks on the scales of not one but two consecutive presidential elections, obviously in the case of giving Hillary Clinton every break possible, imaginable, and yet leaning into something that was never corroborated, a dirty Hillary Clinton bought and paid for Russian disinformation dossier, and pushing a phony false narrative from the beginning, as we learned from the Durham report this week. You know, nobody seems to be held accountable in the end, Congressman. Why is that?
So it's a great point that you're bringing up. And I would propose the following things. The FBI has a massive new building that is slated to be built in Washington, D.C. I believe we pulled funding back from that until we actually see reforms, until the agency is reformed. I think we use the appropriations process as we go forward to defund those that are not doing their job until we see reforms, a concrete plan of reform. We shouldn't give them any more. We should inject ourselves into the appropriate.
Okay, well, Christopher Wray, the FBI director, swore that he implemented all the Inspector General's reforms, but yet here the FBI had Hunter Biden's laptop in December of 2019. It was authenticated, according to John Solomon, by the spring of 2020, and yet FBI agents in the months leading up to the 2020 presidential election were meeting weekly with every big tech company, and according to testimony in Missouri, that they were being warned that they might be victims of a foreign misinformation campaign that might have to do with issues involving Joe and Hunter Biden. So then the Hunter Biden laptop story breaks, the very real laptop, and then it gets totally censored by big tech, who had been pre-bunked by the FBI agents for months and months on end. Is that putting their own influence on a presidential election? Seems like that to me.
No doubt about it. And if you read the Durham report makes it very clear they have little confidence that they're going to enact the reforms that need to be done in the FBI. That's where Congress comes in, and we need to use the power of the purse. We also need to use the Holman rule, Sean.
Well, I'm looking at all of these issues, and I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure that we're going to get the changes that are necessary, because, at the end of the Durham report, which frankly, in my view, was 3 years too late, with all that we now know and all that we knew about, all the lying to FISA court judges and all of the disinformation and all of the accommodations given to Hillary Clinton and the dual system of justice as all things related to Donald Trump. Does the FBI and the CIA, should they be having this type of involvement in our election process?
No, they should not have that type of involvement. But the one way in which we can affect this is to use the power of the purse in Congress. We need to have the fortitude to do that. We also should be using the Holman rule. Holman rule, we can take an employee of the government down to $1, their salary for a year down to $1. And we need to do that with a few people to send a very clear message. But I get it, Sean. I hear it from people at home all the time. They're like, they just don't have any confidence that we're going to be able to get to it. But I believe via the appropriations process, we got to be brave, like we've been so far with some of this stuff that we've been doing in the House of Representatives. We need to do the right thing for the American people.